The German Intercity train fleet has seen a lot of changes over the past few years. From putting the Intercity livery on what essentially is a regional train to bringing in these second-hand trains from Austria, we are gonna explore what Intercity travel in Germany looks like in 2023. As we take one of the former WestBAHN Stadler KISS trains on one of the new missions with Deutsche Bahn. Our journey starts in the German city of Dresden, at its beautiful main station on a snowy December day. With temperatures well below freezing, let's waste no time and head inside. I mean, wow, just take a look at this stunning building. And with this massive Christmas tree at the center of it, I can only just say, well done Dresden. Inside the station, you will also find plenty of seating, as well as the usual fast food outlets, bakeries, convenience stores, etc. There's also a fairly large supermarket, and in general, the station is just really pleasant. Despite the grand appearance, I actually just found the station to feel fairly simple and elegant, which is great. Heading towards the platforms, we pass by the DB Reisezentrum, which is where you can buy tickets from a manned desk, as well as get help with your journey. Next to it, there's also some ticket machines, but I have bought my ticket online today, as tickets are cheaper when booked online in advance. But anyway, let's continue on to the platforms. With 16 platforms across 2 different levels under 3 massive canopies, this certainly is no small station. And right at the center of it is the departure board. We will be catching the 9:31 Intercity train to Rostock, which will be leaving from platform number 3. The station sees train service from various operators, including Mitteldeutsche Regiobahn that operates trains towards Zwickau and Hof. But the far majority of local and S-Bahn trains in the area is done by DB Regio. The platform layout here in Dresden is quite unique, with bay platforms on the lower level, then flanked by elevated platforms on both sides. And as our train will be leaving from one of the high-level platforms, we better get going. But first, a little detour to my favorite station feature. You know I love a model railway at a railway station. Do you know of any other stations in Germany with a model railway? If so, please let me know in the comments. Right, let's head to the platform for real this time. The main access is by stairs, but an elevator is available if you require step-free access or have a lot of bags. And currently occupying our platform is another one of DB's new Intercity trains. Called the IC2, these trains have been widely criticized for being uncomfortable and not fit for their job, as they are basically just a normal double-decker regional train with a different paint job and minor interior modifications. I mean, just compared to this regional train, they really don't look that different. Anyway, enough about other trains. It's almost time to catch ours. Our train arrives inbound from Chemnitz a few minutes behind schedule. These are Stadler KISS trains, built for Austrian operator WestBAHN but later sold to Deutsche Bahn. Built in 2011 and onwards, these trains are capable of reaching speeds of up to 200 km per hour. The train is only scheduled to stop for 4 minutes, so let's head on board. And here we see one of the first tells that these trains were not meant for Deutsche Bahn. Just look at the gap between the train and the platform. I have a seat reservation today, located on the first floor of the first carriage. Anyway, here we are in my seat. And with a delay of about 8 minutes, we now depart Dresden Hauptbahnhof, bound for Berlin and Rostock. And as we snake our way out of the railway junctions here to the north of the station, let's take a closer look at the route map for today's journey. We are on board Intercity train 2270, which has started its journey in Chemnitz, making one stop in Freiberg before arriving into Dresden, where we joined the train. From here we head towards Berlin, stopping in Dresden Neustadt, Elsterwerda, Doberluck-Kirchhain, before arriving in Flughafen Berlin, where I will end my journey. The trip from Dresden to Berlin Flughafen is scheduled to take 1 hour 26 minutes to cover 166 kilometers, giving the train an average speed of 115 kilometers per hour. Afterwards that day, the train continued through Berlin on a diversion avoiding Gesundbrunnen to Rostock Hauptbahnhof. For the first few minutes of the journey, we make our way through the heart of Dresden, passing by many of the local stations serving the city. We make our first stop at the city's other major railway station, Dresden Neustadt. But from here on, we can start accelerating up towards some proper speeds. And as we're making good progress towards Berlin, it's about time I show you around the train. Starting here on the second floor of carriage number 1. Where this stairway will take you down to the driver's cab, but we better not disturb him as he's busy driving our train. On the lower deck here we will find the children's area. As you can see, the tables here have been decorated with small games, which I find is a great feature, especially as these trains do journeys well over 10 hours long. Out in the vestibule, a large electronic display can be found, showcasing train number, carriage number, time, as well as the upcoming station stops. By the stairs, some tip-up seats can also be found, but I wouldn't want to spend many hours in these. On the lower deck of the second carriage is where you will find the accessible area, as well as the accessible toilet. One thing that's great about these trains is there seem to be a lot of luggage racks throughout the train. But unlike on classic local-hauled Deutsche Bahn Intercity trains, there's no longer a full dining car. Now it's all self-service coffee machines as well as this vending machine. The train also has dedicated space for bikes. And on the first floor of the last carriage is where you will find first class. It uses the same seats as standard class, but in a 2+1 layout instead. And before I forget, it's time for the toilet review, which also features a urinal. The space is a bit cramped, but the door is easily locked. The toilet is looking clean. The water is working. It's stocked with paper, as well as soap, and the flush is working. So good job, Deutsche Bahn. And just like that, we are coming in on our second stop, Elsterwerda. The train can get really busy from here till Berlin, as this is one of the few exceptions in Germany where you can use tickets for regional trains also on long distance services, like this Intercity one. This also means that Germany's famous 49 euro ticket is valid on board this train in this section. A great way to try out some Intercity trains on a budget. A few moments later, we make another stop in Doberluck-Kirchhain, an important transfer point that allows you to transfer from our north to south line to the east-west rail link from Cottbus towards Halle and Leipzig. From here on we pick up the speed again, and it won't be long before we reach Berlin, so I think it's about time I show you around the seat. You'll find a nice tray back table, which is very sturdy. There's a small storage nest. You'll also find 2 power outlets between the seats. And on top, a movable armrest, which has some leather padding. The seats themselves are a bit on the harder side, but fairly comfortable, so good job. You might have noticed that this train has quite a few green interior finishes. Well, that's because these trains used to belong to private Austrian rail operator WestBAHN, who sold them to Deutsche Bahn in 2019 as Deutsche Bahn was facing a severe rolling stock shortage for its Intercity fleet. But I think Deutsche Bahn should be happy with their purchase, as these are really comfortable trains, and I've really enjoyed my ride on them. We are now approaching the tunnel taking us into Flughafen Berlin, and I think it's about time we talk about tickets. I was actually traveling on a ticket from Prague to Berlin Airport with a connection in Dresden, but looking at Deutsche Bahn's website 3 weeks in advance, tickets for this train starts at €10 in second class, for the section between Dresden and Berlin Airport. Prices vary based on demand and the time of booking, so best to book ahead on Deutsche Bahn's website as early as you can. And just like that, we are now approaching Berlin Airport, a few minutes behind schedule. I find these trains to be really comfortable and perfectly adequate for these medium distance journeys. However, it is a shame there isn't a proper dining car on board these trains like there was on the ones they replaced. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to upload a new one every Sunday. You can also follow me over on Twitter at IntercitySimon. I usually post live from my travels over there, so it's a great place to get a sneak peek at what videos might be coming to the channel in the future. Thanks for watching.